get started and share this great information that we've got for you tonight. So give me a second, I'm going to share my screen. And with a bit of luck, you are going to see that in glorious full view in 1 second. Let me just switch that over. Great. I think that's what we need to see. So a couple of you have joined from phones and from web links. So I don't know who you are, but for those of you that are joining tonight, it's wonderful to have you here with us on the Level Up Your Life presentation. We've got some incredible information that I first heard about just about 3.5 years ago, and it has transformed my health, and increasingly it's transforming my whole life. And I'm going to share some of that story with you tonight. So for those of you that I do not know, my name is Brett Dorney, and I am an independent distributor aligned with a company called Lifevantage. Here in Europe, we say Lifevantage. The Americans, of course, say Lifevantage. So if I slip between the two, I apologize. I get ribbed regularly about that. It's the company that we're going to share some information with you about tonight. I first heard about this about 3.5 years ago in a setting just like this. Of course, in those days, we did them for real. We did them in an event room. We had a speaker at the front, and I'm sure those times will come back. But tonight, it's great to be able to share this information with you using these platforms that, of course, we've got very familiar with over the last couple of years during these crazy times of the pandemic. So I'm delighted you've been able to join us. We should be about 35 to 40 minutes as we work through the information. And we appreciate your time in spending that evening with us going through some information. Now, a quick disclaimer and disclosure. I'm going to be talking about a health product this evening. We don't make any claims with that product to treat, cure, prevent, mitigate any form of disease. This product does something very particular. We'll cover that in some detail. We're also going to talk about aligning with this company and what it can do for you in terms of leveling up your life. And in that regard, everybody's success is individual. Individual due diligence, work effort, conditions, and so on dictate that. Of course, we'll give you some guidance on that, but it is up to individuals to achieve what they achieve. So let me go back to where it all started. And this story is just amazing. And sometimes we forget just how phenomenal the information is that sits behind this great company and behind the product that we're going to talk to you about this evening. And what it does in our bodies, that's something so unique that we should all know about. Everybody in this Zoom room tonight and everybody you know should know about this information. So let's wind the clock back to the 1960s. And the chap on the screen with the little gold medal alongside him is a scientist called Dr. Joe McCord. And he is considered the father of what's called free radical biology. He's the guru that discovered it all. In his PhD, when he was studying at Duke University in the late 60s, I believe 1968, 69, he discovered a molecule in our body called superoxide dismutase. Now, we abbreviate that to SOD, much simpler to say. And what he discovered in SOD is that this is a molecule, an enzyme that sits in our body, is constantly there, and it's one of the critical enzymes in relation to our processes of aging in our body, and it operates at the cellular level. What he did following the publication of that thesis in 1969 and the discovery of the enzyme is spend his entire career, his entire life, researching phytonutrients, natural nutrients in combination that can activate and turn back on enzymes like SOD in our body. So he's devoted his entire life to really focusing on that. And he led the team that discovered the product we're going to talk to you about tonight, which is Protandim Nrf2. We'll say a little bit more about that in a minute. And you've been attracted to this Zoom tonight by something called the little yellow activator. And that is the little yellow activator. It was born and brought to market in 2003 as a result of all of Dr. McCord and the science team's research. So this is a product that has been out for 18 years. It is not new. It's remarkable that with an 18-year lifespan, so few people know about the effect and the positive impact it has on people's health. And we want to share that with you tonight. The company began in the retail environment. So it was selling this product in shops that we'd recognize, health and wellness shops, particularly in the US, in the early days. And in 2005, the ABC network in the US, which I guess is the equivalent of the BBC, it's one of the key networks, they launched what's called a primetime investigative report. Now, this is a investigative journalist report aired in the primetime slot in the evening, which goes out on the ABC network and everybody sees it. It's a bit like the equivalent in the UK of BBC Panorama, and we have similar investigative journalist type programs in all of our European markets that we would all recognize. And this investigative report, intent with these is always to go in and debunk what they're investigating, so to try and debunk anything that they come across. So they sent in their chief reporter, John Canonies, the chap just at the back there inside the TV, into the lab to see Dr. McCord and say, let's see if we can debunk this product and what was being published. There were a few published studies already in 2003 that began to show some of the effect of this product on something called oxidative stress. More about oxidative stress in a minute, but what they were trying to do is show that this was a load of nonsense, debunk this science completely, and discredit the company completely. They sent John Canonies in. They took his blood at the start of the trial, and they gave him 1 Protandim tablet a day, which is the prescribed dose, and they tracked his blood. Now, he should have lasted a month and come back to testing, and after 14 days, he came into the lab and said, right, take my blood, let's see where we are. They were expecting results of a 40% reduction. In fact, they got a 45% reduction in his oxidative stress in that 2-week period. So their attempt to try and debunk the product, of course, backfired tremendously. The result of that is that the company was absolutely swamped with interest and with orders, because this was aired across the whole of the United States, and you can imagine the furore and the interest that created as a result of that. But it was sold through the retail environment. So if you walked into your local health shop in the US, they'd have to know about the product, they'd have to understand what it was, which is very difficult to achieve. And you'll hear a little bit more about why that is in a second. So what happened was that the company called in some specialist business consultants and said, this is not working for us, the retail environment isn't working, we have to try something else. And they said, this is a product whose users convey to other users the power and the effect of it on their health. So you need to move to a direct sales model. That's a person-to-person sales model rather than a retail sales model. So that switch happened in 2009. And what has happened as a result of that switch is that the company has gone from a small $5 to $9 million minnow to a $250 million huge company that nobody knows about. And that's what's so exciting and why I'm here to share this with you tonight, because everybody should know about oxidative stress. We all have it. All humans, all mammals have it, in fact, and there is something we can do about it. Now, a bit more on the company. It's NASDAQ traded, which means it's on the public stock exchange, and its ticker tape is LFVN. So those of you that have a stock app or you like tracking stocks, you'll be tracking LFVN to see more. And in those early days, lots of universities, prestigious medical centers, associations, and so on began to show interest in the product. So they got their hands on the product and they conducted their own self-funded research into this amazing product because of what they saw in that ABC primetime investigative report. So a little more on oxidative stress. What is it? What causes it? And why do we have it? Well, it is a natural consequence of us breathing oxygen. Reactive oxygen species, ROS, is a consequence of us breathing oxygen, and it creates oxidative stress. We have exposure to something called free radicals. Many of us have heard of this. Free radicals are pollutants that are in things that we eat, we drink. It's a consequence of the air we breathe. Too much or too little exercise, toxins in the environment that we have, even the device that we're using now and exposure to Wi-Fi, 4G and 5G, expose us to free radicals. These are unstable molecules that attack our cells, trying to thieve a positive electron and balance themselves up. And that's something we cannot avoid. That is something all humans have exposure to as a consequence of breathing. We see it with an apple, for example. When we cut an apple, we leave it on the countertop, it goes brown, it oxidizes. Well, that is happening to each and every single cell in our bodies. Nothing we can do about that. Of course, the polluting and the environment, the lifestyle choices we make that worse, amplify the effect of that. So what happens when we have uncontrolled oxidative stress and imbalance in our free radicals? In other words, we're not fighting off those free radicals. It creates an imbalance. It has that state of oxidative stress. Well, that impacts every single organ system in our body, every single organ system. As you can see in that diagram on the left, the heart, the skin, kidneys, joints, lungs, brain, the immune system, our blood vessels, organs, and even our eyes are impacted. And you can see many of the conditions that are associated with high levels of oxidative stress around each of those organs. We cannot get away from it. Now, if you're interested, if you've got something that's concerning you with one of those organ systems, part of your body, and you want to know, does it have a link to oxidative stress? Then I send you to the National Library of Medicine. This is the international research receptacle, the database where all published research in the entire world resides. The web address is pubmed.gov. Super simple, very easy, pubmed.gov. It's the National Library of Medicine. It's funded by the US government. Every single published piece of research that's peer-reviewed goes onto this database. What you do is go onto the pubmed.gov and in the search bar type oxidative stress and see what you see. At last count, 250,000 studies. Look at that graph that you see in green there on the page. Very little in the 60s and 70s. From when Dr. McCord, that father of free radical biology, published in 2003 to today, an absolutely steep curve with all the research that's going on, because we now understand that this is something that's at the core of so many issues that we all struggle and suffer with in our bodies. Now, you would say, well, what does that look like? Excuse me, what does having oxidative stress feel like? How would I know if that's me, if I'm concerned by this? Well, you'd have an overburdened immune response. Constantly getting sick, that's certainly my story. I think back to 2017, when I first was introduced to the product, I was constantly ill. I had every cold that went. Somebody just had to look at me and I picked up what they gave me. You have brain fog. So that feeling that you just can't get your brain to function optimally. You're sluggish. Perhaps you've got fatigue. It might impact your mood and lack motivation. You have increased stress, so not oxidative stress, physical stress in your body. And of course, fatigue, as I've said. And until Lifevantage came along, there was no solution to effectively lower oxidative stress. In my team, I have one of the leading anesthetists in New Zealand. And she said, in my medical training, at no point was I ever instructed in oxidative stress. This is something that's come to light since 2003, the mapping of the genome and Dr. McCord's research. And no amount of fruits, vegetables, red, green, the richer the color, special antioxidants, potions, tablets, and so on can do anything about that. Of course, we're not saying don't do that. You must eat a highly colored diet, rich in vegetables, vitamins, and so on. But it can't fight off the free radicals to the extent that we need. And there's a reason for that. And that reason is dietary antioxidants that you consume by mouth fight free radicals on a one-to-one basis. So think of them as little soldiers in your body that go off and attack free radicals. For every free radical they kill off themselves, one-to-one, and then done. Now you can imagine there are 300 septillion, that's 300 with 7 sets of 3 zeros behind it, free radicals in the average human body. You cannot eat enough rich green and colored food, things like oranges and blueberries a day to fight off all those free radicals. It's just not possible. You'd be consuming things like 400 oranges, 500 cups of broccoli. I can't bear the thought of it. 110 cups of blueberries and 120 vitamin C tablets together, and then you would only just be throwing a teacup on a house fire. Just not sufficient. Protandim Nrf2, what this does is it activates a pathway in your body, the Nrf2 pathway. This is a pathway in every cell in your body, and it activates that pathway. It flips a switch in your body to turn back on your body's own antioxidants. You have 3 amazing antioxidants in your body that you are born with. They start to decline as you get older. SOD that we talked about at the start is one of them. Catalase is another, and glutathione is the third. And glutathione is the master of all, the mother of all antioxidants. That is the absolute master regulator of things in your body. Now, not now, but after this evening, if you're interested in glutathione, just put glutathione into Google Scholar or into PubMed and see the importance of glutathione in our body. It's particularly good at fighting off bacteria, at viruses, and so on. So it's critically important. And what does Protandim do? It doesn't put any supplements in you, but it's not adding anything into your body. It's a combination of things that activates a pathway in your cells to turn on that switch and reproduce those 3 antioxidants and hundreds of other survival genes that your body has to upregulate performance and fight off nasties in your body, and particularly oxidative stress. So you can see before and without Protandim, it's a natural increase in oxidative stress with age. That's not something you can escape. But after Protandim, and this was indeed proven on that investigative report that I mentioned, John Canoni's, he was 60 at the time, and you can see that his blood is the same as that of a newborn. So his reduction was so significant, it was the age of a newborn after 2 weeks on Protandim Nrf2. That's just phenomenal. Just let that sink in for a minute. In 2 weeks, he'd got his blood results measured by T-bars back to the same as an infant. That's phenomenal. So a powerful product that complements something in your body that you cannot get anywhere else. So a little more on Protandim Nrf2, the product that is the result of all of that 40 years of research of Dr. Joe McCord and his team. I've already talked about it increasing superoxide dismutase by 30%, catalase by 54%, and the big one, glutathione, by 300%. In combination, that reduces oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. So in a month, in a calendar month, you've reduced your accumulated oxidative stress by 40%. That's phenomenal. So in just 5 to 6 months, think about the impact that it can have on your body. Now, what is in it? Like I said, you're not supplementing anything that's lacking in your body. Your body needs no more turmeric, no more milk thistle, no more green tea, no more bacopa, and certainly no more ashwagandha. But those 5 ingredients he discovered, when you put them together in a patented formulation, which, trust me, he researched that 2,000 times to get the right combination. When he found the right combination, low doses of those 5 in combination, he secured the patent for that, despite it being all natural, because of the results that it has by reducing oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. So that's not adding anything into your body, that's flipping the switch, as I said. Now, why is that so phenomenal? When all of those other institutes got their hands on the product, they started publishing their own independent self-funded research into this product. I don't know when last you went to a health food shop and then went to pubmed.gov, which we've talked about, and put the brand name in. I'll be surprised if you find any that have got any peer-reviewed published research. This product has, at last count, 28 that are peer-reviewed and published on PubMed. So we said go to pubmed.gov and put in oxidative stress. Do the same, and instead of oxidative stress, put in Protandim, and you'll see 28 studies coming into a range of issues that it's already been studied, and more come every year. I think we've had 3 studies published just in the last 12 months, so it's constantly being updated. And look at the names of those universities and institutes that are researching this product right now and have done in the past. Harvard, Colorado State, Washington State, even the American Heart Association has been looking into it. And here in Europe and outside the US, University in Amsterdam, University in Wales, and indeed the University of Montreal in Canada. So just incredible. And see some of the published publications that it's in, really respected journals like the Free Radical Biology and Medicine. So the product's featured on, we talked about ABC Investigative Report. It's also been on NBC, on the Wall Street Journal, Dr. Phil, the Today Show, and others. There are 7 US patents and 6 international patents, totaling a number of 13. This is something that cannot be copied, can't be bought anywhere else, and that's material, and I'll come back to that information in a little while. So we said it flips the switch, this Nrf2 activation pathway in your body. Well, the Washington State University took the whole published research up to 2015, looked at it and said, let's just understand what this Nrf2 activation is all about. So a review study looks at all the published research up to that point in time. It's like a consolidation study. And it found that Nrf2 activation was potentially the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. Can you see why I get excited about this? Can you see why I've told so many people to join us tonight? This is incredible. They're saying that Nrf2 activation could be the most preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. That just gets me up in the morning. So it doesn't stop with our little yellow activator, Protandim Nrf2. The company Lifevantage that we're talking about has taken that and replicated that into other cellular pathways in our body. There's an Nrf1 pathway that activates energy. There's an NAD pathway, the cellular cleanup crew, and so on. But they've also gone into a range of other products, nootropic products for brain health, omegas, products for our pet. But most importantly, they've taken that Nrf2 activation from a tablet and said, where else can we apply it? And they've done it into a skincare range. So activating from the outside in as well as from the inside out. A hair care range, activating through your scalp, getting all that positive benefits. And coming next year, a combined CBD and Nrf2 body care system, which you see down on the right-hand side there, which we're so excited about because that brings two great technologies together into one. So this is a company that's continuously innovating and bringing new things to bear. Later this year in Europe, we'll get the daily wellness product, which is just a scoop of powder with 5 great ingredients that you add into the mix, add with water and take daily for our health. So why have I decided that this is such an amazing thing to combine with my day job? Let me tell you a little story. So I started on the product, got amazing results. I saw some incredible improvements in reducing my oxidative stress in my body, in particular inflammatory responses. So I have a healthy inflammatory response now, and realized in 2020 that my consulting business was very exposed because of the pandemic. We all know what's happened. We've all experienced it. I had it particularly badly. Why? Because in my day job, I run a consulting company in aviation. I consult on aviation risk. You can imagine every aircraft was parked up, every airport was closed, there was no work. So I dove deeply into this, deeply into the business side, and I can say that in a short period of time, this has really transformed my life. I've leveled up my life and leveled up my bank account using what I'm going to share with you tonight. And if I can do it part-time in the nooks and crannies of my life, evenings as I'm doing with you now, anybody can do it. So if this isn't for you, keep your mind open about others who are being negatively impacted right now by the pandemic that we can share this information with. More on that in a minute. So the traditional plan of life, right? We all know this. We study and learn for 20 years or so, then we earn for 40 to 50 years. We work away on someone else's dreams, and then we hope to live in retirement for an unknown period of time. With this company, with Lifevantage, what we do is you learn for 20 years, you earn while you learn, deploying in this new business, aligned with this great company that frees you up to live your life for the amount of time and to achieve the things you want to do in your life. And I'm certainly testament to that over the last few years. And why is this such a perfect model? Well, certainly we've seen that in the last 12 months. You work from home or you work from anywhere. I've worked this business from Santiago in Chile in the last year, before lockdown in Turkey last year in November. So this is something you can do from wherever you are, from your home, from anywhere. You can use your mobile phone to do it. It's a virtual office. We get given an amazing system to manage our business. You have no inventory, minimal business assets. You don't have to hold any stock. You're not running off to the post office to dispatch anything. You're not dealing with couriers. You just act as an introducer. It's a low cost of entry. Now, that varies across the various European markets. So we're not going to go into detail on that this evening. It does depend on where you are and different packs to get in, but all low cost of entry. And we share by social sharing. So precisely like we're doing tonight, we invite people to events like this or physical events when we're able to do that and share what we're exposed to. So conveying the great positive reductions in oxidative stress and what that means for people's health. You get a personal online store, and that store is in every country in which the company is already open. So that I'll show you a little bit more on in a minute, but that's amazing because we all know people in places all over the world, right? We've become a diaspora of people all over the globe. I certainly have as many customers outside the UK now as I do inside, and that's just the nature of the global world we live in. And the great thing about this company is that it's recently switched to paying daily bonuses once you reach a particular level in the business. And that's not an enormous level, that's a really achievable level that you can do quite quickly. And so you get paid regularly on a daily basis, which is just phenomenal. So where is this business? It's already in, I believe, 23 countries. We're now in 23 countries. Here's a smattering of them on the screen. Here in Europe, I think we're in 5 or 6. We're in the UK, in Ireland, we're in the Netherlands, we're in Spain, Belgium, we're in Germany, we're in Austria. And if I've left anybody off, I forget, I apologize. We also have customer markets in Italy and in France. So you can see that we're not in all the European markets. More will open in other markets over the next few years. In the time that I've been associated with Lifevantage, I've seen a new market open at least every 6 months. So this is a company that is continuing to grow to meet the needs of where you know people all over the world. Now, here's an example of the online store. You get an online store. You also get the equivalent in an app, and you can manage your whole business from either of those two. And that's delivered to your customers or your prospects, people you'd like to introduce to the products, in their local market, priced in their local currency, with local taxes included, no customs and excise duties. So many people I talk to say, oh yeah, I bought something from a US company and I got whacked with a customs duty at some point. That never happens. The product is shipped from the local market. So the warehouse is in the local market and is shipped from that local market. So that's very important. So, I guess, certainty for your customers about what they're getting, and it's a very low cost for them in terms of servicing their health improvements. So as a business, how do I make money? How do I make money in this? You get paid weekly. So as you introduce customers to the product range, you get what's called Smart Start bonuses, and if you're qualified, you get up to 25% for those Smart Start bonuses. And as you grow your team and encourage others to do exactly what we are doing, growing our businesses, you start to get launch bonuses in addition. That money's paid weekly. In some cases, you get it daily. You get paid monthly on royalty commissions. So every time any customer that you introduce to the company reorders again and again and again, and this is a product that you continue to take, in particular the Protandim Nrf2, you take that over time, every repeat order generates you royalty commission. So this is the equivalent of you writing a song or writing a book and getting royalty commission forevermore as long as those people remain customers. You get a generational match bonus for people that you bring in and help to build the depth in your team. And of course, as you get higher into the business, you take a share in what's called the elite pool. You take a share at different levels, up to 4% of the global revenue of the business. So for those that are in it to make big money, that's certainly an option. How do you get yourself into profit mode quickly? Well, we help you to enroll your first 5 customers as quickly as possible. The whole compensation plan in Europe is designed to support that activity. So you join, you are in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You have a whole team that comes to support you to help you get your first 5 customers, and that neutralizes the cost of your overheads to buy in, making you cost neutral quickly, and everything after that gets you into profit mode. So how do you build a business in this business? Well, of course, a network of customers. I think I'm close to 85 customers that I've built up over the last few years as I've introduced them to this product. based on the phenomenal results and the stories and the science that we talked about. But you can also build through a network of distributors, or indeed a hybrid of the two. You may have a combination of customers and or distributors, which is the likely outcome, because many customers, having got the experience that I've had, for example, say, if there's a business associated with this, I'm in. I want to know how to do that. So many customers convert and upgrade to become distributors. And if you're thinking, well, what does that look like? What is a business in this company? If I'm starting my own business, what does that look like? Well, the great thing about this business is because it's publicly traded, and this was one of my key criteria when I was looking for an opportunity. A publicly traded company means it's got great scrutiny from the regulators. You know, I said to you, it's on the NASDAQ stock exchange. So the SEC regulator, the Securities and Exchange Commission in the US, pores over this company. The trade regulator in the US, all of the health regulators in every single market are constantly poring over this company. I like that. I'm a compliance geek. I'm a risk consultant, as I said. That just ticks a big box for me. One of the other benefits of that is that the company publishes what they call an average annual income disclosure statement. And here it is on an iPad in front of you. What is that? It's the company being transparent about what is the volume level at each key volume level in the business, what's the average monthly earning alongside that, and they even publish how long it takes people on average to get to that level. Now, what is that first column? The rank. It's a description for a volume size, a turnover size of your business. So Pro 3, for example, is a 5,000 turnover business that you've got running, and you can expect to turn over you expect to earn $581. That's between 475 pounds and about 500 euros a month in residual income every single month. Amazing, right? So the next key rank, Pro 5, that's 20,000 in turnover a month. You can expect to earn just over 2,000 pounds, so 2,300 euros a month, $2,900 a month. So you've moved from perhaps paying a bill at a Pro 3 level or paying for your products to actually now contributing to perhaps the mortgage or some of your bills in the house. I know just last July, I got to the Pro 5 rank myself, and that now means that my mortgage is covered every single month. And that's a huge weight off. That's a huge relief for me in my business. You can go on later, and that's moving probably from part-time, such as I am, to a full-time role. My colleague Lisa is on here tonight supporting, and Lisa's a Pro 8, and you can see that Pro 7, Pro 8 levels, this is full-time replacement income and beyond. Many people are earning significant numbers as they grow their business full-time across all of those territories that we were talking about. So if you're thinking, okay, interesting, great product, the product is not available in any retail environment. You can only get it from Lifevantage, from an authorized independent distributor of Lifevantage. You've got no competition on the high street with that. It's an affordable product. So, for example, in the UK, it works out at about £1.55 a day to consume it. It's a consumable product. You're not competing with anything because it's patented, and those patents have some years yet to run. It's open in multiple markets where you know people and where people you know people. And if it's going in your mouth, then you want to be sure of the science, right? That's one of the things when I was starting a business, it's something I'm putting in my mouth, and there has to be absolutely solid, robust, peer-reviewed science. I've already addressed that with you. So publicly traded, multiple regulatory scrutiny, products consumable and affordable. You're not competing with anything on the high street or indeed Lifevantage itself. Many opportunities you're actually competing with the company who sell direct. That's not the case here. And it's open in all of those markets. So how do you fit in and how might you do this? Well, global customer support. We have a very easy duplicatable system. It's called the ITT system. Invite, share a tool, and then bring the team to bear to support you in terms of building your business. We have regular team meetings, of course. At the moment, those are often on Zoom, on Teams, and on these kind of platforms. But regularly we do that when times are normal together, and we forged great community and relationships with people just like ourselves that may not even be in our own teams, building their businesses. This is an incredible community, an amazing culture where we all work together. And the company puts on incentive trips and perks. In fact, the next one is in Tenerife in August. And it's about building your business, doing what you would normally do anyway to build your business, and getting recognition and reward for doing that. And a private support community, the team that really pulls together. And it's something that I've never experienced in all my years of working. We are running these Level Up Your Life presentations for every weekday evening in May. You can see the bevy of presenters over on the right-hand side there. We're 3 or 4 in. I think we're day 4 in. They run through to Friday, the 28th of May. So if you know anybody that you think should see or hear this information, please let them know. It's 8:30 every weekday evening on the same Zoom number that you've used this evening, a different presenter each night to keep things interesting. Each person with a different story, but this is something that we're delighted to bring to your attention. So let me tell you a little bit about Lifevantage to close off, because they've achieved some incredible things recently. They achieved the best place to work a couple of years ago. They added Ireland to the mix. That was one of our more recent markets. Erin Brockovich, the famous Erin Brockovich that Julia Roberts played in the movie, is on our board of directors. She's a very famous activist. We got Stevie Awards, a number of Stevie Awards. I think last year in 2020, we got 7 all-in-ones for our products. We've been added to the Russell 3000 index. That's the top 3,000 companies on the NASDAQ. So we're in that index. We've opened in New Zealand, as we've already seen. We've posted record revenues recently, right throughout the pandemic, incredible results. On the 9th of January last year, Lifevantage was invited to ring the closing bell on the day's trading in Wellness Week, a big deal. So the whole corporate team were at the front of the exchange, ringing the closing bell to close the day's trading. You can imagine the PR and the press we received as a result of that up on Times Square. It's a shirt sponsor for Real Salt Lake City, the football team. We're open, as I've said, in a number of markets. And one of the key things that I just want to end off with is this great thing called Lifevantage Legacy. Whenever we get together and do something constructive, or we have an event, there's always an outreach element of that. We are always adding into the communities. Whether it's the fires in Australia last year, giving all of the firemen hand creams, whether it's building houses in Mexico, as you see on the screen, whether it's food packs for Mexican school children that we put together in February last year, regardless of what it is, there's an element of reaching out and adding back into the community. And that's one of the great things I enjoy about this company. So a huge amount of information for you tonight. I hope I've conveyed some of the amazing science and the interest in the product, what it can do, as well as the business opportunity that sits behind it for those of you that are looking for something else, or you know people who may be interested to do something else, aligned to a very strong company. Where do you go from here? You might need more information, and please, at the very least, everybody has oxidative stress. You should at least become a customer. Go back to the person, please, who invited you here tonight. We have a very safe environment where you go back to the person who referred you here this evening, and they'll be able to help you. If you are interested in the business, again, please go back to the person who invited you here this evening. They'll set out the options for you to buy into the business. That's a very low cost of entry, as we said, but that's your option to start the business. And I want to thank you all for joining tonight. We're about 40 minutes in. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this evening. I think we're up to a good 28 people in the room. I really appreciate everyone giving their time. Thank you so much. And again, if I just refer you back to the person who invited you here this evening. Thanks, everyone.